I just watched all three David Gordon Green Halloween movies, so it is now time to rank them. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My channel name is Ledger Forever, and you guys know me as Ledger, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for rankings just like this. And with all that stuff all the way, let's get started talking about this ranking. So kicking it off in last place, at the bottom of the barrel, I'm going to give it to Halloween Ends. Ugh. Halloween may have ended, but this movie sure did not want to, because boy, this movie was boring and long. And, well, actually not even long, it was only like an hour 50. And, yeesh. This was so boring. So boring. Like there was moments that it had, like with the moment with like Michael and Laurie fighting is a fantastic scene, but it feels shoehorned in. It is so slow, and it is a complete example of the studio marketing the film for the completely wrong thing, and they were like, the reason that it made so much money is because they thought it was the final showdown between Laurie and Michael. And then they got your butts into that seat, and then gotcha, because nope, it's not in that at all. It's in like the last 10 minutes. And yeesh, it is unforgivable what they do there. But it made a whopper amount of money, so knowing them, the Halloween franchise is going to be back soon. Don't know how, because Michael dies at the end of it. We know that because they literally crush his body. And so I don't think they can bring him back then. So I have no idea what they're going to do. But this movie was a chore. And I think there's interesting things like Corey, but he feels like he shouldn't even be in this movie. He should be in a different movie, like an anthology on like how Michael affected the town, like Evil. But the fact that Corey's our main villain and now Michael, who's the face of the entire thing, is really unforgivable. So I know that there are a select group of people that say that this is good. I am not one of them. At number 2 is Halloween Kills. And I think this movie is a bit of a step up from Halloween Ends. I do like this movie. And another reason why I think this one is better than Halloween Ends is one of the things that I hated that they did in Ends was the direction they go with in Michael. He's a complete side character, same thing with Laurie, but Michael especially, there's a scene in which like Corey is like, he's beaten up by band kids. Then he later he's grown up, by the way. So he then, after going into the sewer, encounters Michael and knocks him over and just takes his mask and beat him up. You do not do that to Michael. That is disrespectful. Like, whoever made that obviously did not have any love for the movie. Because whoever thought that was a good idea. Because, seriously, you were in a room to make a good story, and that's what you came up with? Seriously. Kills, I think it's a bit more true for Michael, because Michael's the main villain in this, and if you're just wanting to see just Michael go all brute and force and just go absolutely crazy, you'll get it in this movie, because this movie really shows you the carnage side of Michael. This movie is gory and brutal. One of the most brutal and gory movies I have seen ever. It really does not hold back on it, and I get that there are a lot of problems with it. I still do not understand how a town could assume that a chubby little guy that's like, I would guess like 5'6" or 7" could be Michael when Michael is tall. Like, well, when Michael is skinny, moves very fast, and is also like, he's like 6'5" or something. He is tall. Like, seriously, how do you make that big of a mistake? I mean, that is and also, there is one thing that it's a gaping flaw that a lot of people mention. The fact that Michael takes a ton of damage in this movie. This takes place the same night as Halloween 2018, so in the course of this film, Michael, because they need to get him to ends just so they can completely butcher him, in the course of this film, he's shot several times. His fingers get shot off. He's beaten up by a crowd. He's stabbed multiple times. He's run over and he's burned alive. And yet every single flipping time he gets up like it's nothing. Nothing can do anything to this guy. Because, I mean, he took a bit of damage in 2018, but it felt like he was at least feeling it. But this one, it feels like he's just completely ignoring it, and he's going all the way crazy. Because I get he's supposed to be very powerful and possibly a supernatural being. There is no way that he could survive that. Because even someone like him that was built like him could not survive getting stabbed that many times, getting shot that many times, losing that much blood, getting run over, being burned alive. Seriously, who survives this type of stuff? So, all in all, I thought this movie was decent, but things like that kept it back a bit. But I did still moderately enjoy this movie. But in first place is Halloween from 2018, the legacy sequel, the legacy sequel to 1978 that pretty much retconned all the other films in the franchise, which if I had to make a tiny adjustment, I probably would have, because it's a direct sequel to the original and ignores all the others, I would have made it a direct sequel to Halloween 1 as well as Halloween 2, because that would have made it a lot more smart on how they caught him. Because one of my criticisms for the film was how did they catch Michael, because at the end of 78 he disappears. They answer that in kills, but that might have already been because people had started nitpicking it, being like, how did they catch him? So I think it would have been much smarter if they had done that in 2. But I'm not complaining, because we did get that awesome scene, that awesome flashback scene in Kills with Michael, and this is probably my favorite version of Michael. He's very brutal, and this is easily my favorite mask. Just the way that it looks just like the original one, just it's more hardened, it's aged more, so it gives us this really grimy look to it. It looks like it's olden and looks like it's really brutal, so that's a really cool mask. If I had to fault this movie, Laurie. She is seriously, she is overacting completely. There are people on YouTube that get mugged worse than she does. And Laurie, not everything is about you. The only reason Michael went after you and did that is because, well, A, he was stalking babysitters, but also keep in mind he was just killing your friends, and then he makes a small little attack on you when you go near him. So she completely acts like he's been doing this for several different times. If they had included if they made 2 in, then maybe you could have gotten away with that a little better, because he does go after her again and keep trying to kill her, and just so that was not a good idea at all, and making her that over the top and dramatic. Yeah, so I thought that this movie was going to be like the scariest movie of all time when I saw it, because I did not know this was a sequel. I thought that this was just the real thing. I thought this was the original film, and it looked scary, and because I expected some sort of really scary sci-fi thing with people. I have no idea what to describe it as, but I also there's a scene in which a babysitter is killed. When I was little, saw a clip on YouTube saying Halloween, the babysitter's killed, and that always oh no, and that really just scared me to death. Looking back on it now, I'm not scared at it at all. I did not get fazed when she died, because I get it was brutal, but still, I'm not someone who gets disturbed by the violence now. I've seen John Rambo, I've seen Halloween Kills, I've seen Saving Private Ryan. I'm kind of through the violent phase of movies. I can handle that type of stuff. So maybe you're a bit more squeamish on that, but I'm not. But I do think that this film is really good. I know that there are some people that dunk on it. I am someone who actually liked it. I started on Letterboxd, so you can see what I thought about it on Letterboxd. I don't have a review. I don't review any of the films on Letterboxd, at least not yet, but I did star it, as in I put in the thing. But it is a really good film. There you guys have it. That is my ranking of all 3 David Gordon Green Halloween films ranked. In third place is Halloween Ends. In second place is Halloween Kills, and in first place is Halloween from 2018, the sequel, legacy sequel, or sequel boot, or whatever you call it. But that's my ranking of them, and I had fun with the first one, and pretty a bit of the second one as well. It's kind of probably what you would call a guilty pleasure because of the Carnage Candy, and the third was an absolute disaster. Ay, ay, ay. So, that is my ranking of all of them. Make sure, if you have seen all of them, make sure to share your ranking in the comments. What do you think of these films? Do you think Ends is underrated? Do you think that 2018 is overrated? Do you think Kills is do you think that Kills is overhated? What do you think? I would love to hear your ranking of them, so go ahead and drop them in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.